The place of kangaroos in the Australian environment, of course, is that they've always been out there. They're out there now in larger numbers than they used to be, and they're highly adapted to this highly variable climate, having evolved in the Australian rangeland environment. Previously, kangaroos, of course, were managed by Aboriginals, mainly through the use of fire, and their objective was to create a short grass community that attracted the kangaroos to where they wanted them to be so that they could hunt them. These days that same effect is produced by sheep in particular, and that's why you find the most kangaroos in the sheep growing areas. Both the prior hunting by Aboriginal people and also predation by wild dogs has largely ceased in the sheep growing areas. So you've got a combination of more water, short grass, no predation, bottom line, more kangaroos. The negative impacts of kangaroos really are down to the fact that they're in large numbers, some 40 to 50 million of them in Australia, on pastoral land, which really is a huge number. You know, when you think there's only 37 million sheep in the same rangelands, there's more kangaroos than there are sheep. The role of the kangaroo industry is to provide a mechanism for professional kangaroo shooters who are capable of being audited and tested by government agencies to make sure they meet animal welfare standards, which is a much better animal welfare position than where the kangaroo industry is not operating, where you get amateur shooters. And unfortunately, this is the trend at the moment. As the kangaroo industry suffers from various campaigns from animal preservation groups, and the numbers of kangaroos that are being killed by amateurs, by untrained people, is increasing. But there's just no mechanism for the government agencies that are charged with monitoring all this from actually determining A, how many animals are being killed, or how they're being killed, and whether they're being killed humanely. And this is a view that's supported by the RSPCA. There are RSPCA published positions on their website that endorse the kangaroo industry as the most efficient and humane way of disposing of excess kangaroos. The impact of sheep and cattle is profound on the Australian landscape, but that's tolerated because they're generating an income for the landholders. Then alongside that, you've got this 40 to 50 million kangaroos that don't generate an income for the landholders. How do we go about increasing the value of kangaroos, maintain the kangaroo industry, but by increasing their value, create a space for them that helps graziers cease to regard them as pests, but as an asset. With the current state of the kangaroo industry and the fact that it's only been able to sell 20% of its licensed quota in the last few years, in other words, the demand is contracting compared to the availability of the product. That means that a lot more kangaroos are being wasted, so that a strong kangaroo industry with higher prices would be able to address that. We'd be able to begin to take a higher proportion and hopefully at least the allowable quota. At the moment, all of that gap between the 20%, 80% of the animals that are legally able to be taken are not being taken commercially. Kangaroos have got a number of really strong attributes that could form part of a marketing campaign. Kangaroo meat is very high quality, it's got a number of health benefits. The kangaroos themselves drink less water, they have a higher boning out percentage and they don't produce methane. Kangaroo leather has got the highest strength for weight ratio. It makes very fine football boots and also suits for motorcycle riders. I'd like to see graziers get behind the kangaroo industry, recognise that these animals are out there on their properties now, they're feeding them, therefore why shouldn't they own them in the sense and be able to benefit from them.